3D boxing here with ABF champ, former fighter and current matchmaker and trainer, Ferocious Luey Villarreal here in the Rio Grande Valley. It's been a while, but we got really big time elite level boxing back in the RGV. What's that like, and why did you decide this venue and the RGV for this big fight?
I always knew there was a big boxing fan base here. So we did our first fight. You were there back in May in San Antonio as a promotion company, being the head matchmaker, and we were looking for second place, and I suggested to the promoter that we should do the Rio Grande Valley. He was very skeptical at first, but me being involved in boxing and being a former fighter, so I knew a lot of people down here. Plus I have family down here, and I know the atmosphere it is down here. So it was a no-brainer to come down here.
The fight back in September at the Pain Arena was electric. The atmosphere was electric. After that, it was like, okay, we need to bring a bigger fight here, a bigger card here. Or what was the reaction to that first fight you had back in September?
Oh, we had a great turnout. It was a great response from the community, but also more importantly from a lot of the fighters, because they felt that they weren't getting enough attention down here, and local promoters down here weren't being as fair to them. So basically we just leveraged the playing field for them to be able to give that opportunity to showcase their skills, and it came out great. We went to the Pain Arena, which is probably one of the biggest down here in the valley as far as venues are concerned, and we had a great turnout.
It was a great arena, a great venue, it was a great event. Friday night, we got Austin Trout, from a WBA champ, beat Miguel Cotto in the Garden. He's been in Canelo, been in with everybody, fighting Trout-Charles. You're the matchmaker on that. Talk us through that and what went into making the match.
Oh, that was a kind of crazy one, because originally we were going to make the fight in San Antonio with Austin Trout versus another fighter. The other fighter couldn't show up for whatever reason, so we had to move or find another opponent rather. So Trout-Charles, he was one of our special guests that we brought at the last event, and since he's from Reynosa, Mexico, which is literally right across the border, and he's always here in the valley, we made that fight occur. So it just made sense to bring it down here to the valley. Again, in addition to that, we had promised a rematch for local Sammy Castaneda versus Julio Sanchez, who fought for the ABO title to a draw. It was a very spectacular fight, so we had promised both fighters that we would make their fight happen.
Like you said, pound for pound entertainment, it's just your third card, and already you got ESPN here. It's going to be televised, not just nationally, but around the world, right?
Correct.
What's it like to be moving that quickly and getting these big shows already? Just three cards into the new company.
Well, it's pretty much in the direction. I have a big ego. The CEO, Santiago Martinez, has a big ego, and we say we're going to try to do something. Let's do it big. And I asked him when we started the company, which direction do you want to go? And he says, I want to go as big as possible. So our third event, here we are. ESPN, and it kind of just fell together through my networking and the people in the boxing community that I know. So yeah, we both are very ambitious when it comes to our businesses and to anything that we endeavor to.
Without giving away too much, Austin Trout versus Jose Charles. Stylistically, it's a fun fight. What are your expectations, and then what are you kind of expecting tomorrow as far as in the ring, without giving away too much?
So that's one of the things that I've been asked and talking about recently, because Austin Trout is actually a good friend of mine, and he trains in Houston, where he moved to, and he trains with my team, with Aaron Novato and Bobby Benton.
Houston native.
And I'm a Houston native. I live in San Antonio now, but Aaron Navarro is my coach and one of my best friends in life, and he's part of their team, and so that just makes a little extra connection. And Jose Charles, once I met him, we clicked pretty good, because my dad is from Reynosa. My dad passed away about a few months ago, and he was a former fighter coming from Reynosa, Mexico, and finishing his career in Houston. So it just has a sentimental value there, because I'm cool with both guys. But stylistically, I think it's a very, very technical boxing match. So we know that Austin can fight outside the ring. He knows how to, I don't think age has caught up with him at this point in his career, and he outboxed Miguel Cotto. We all seen that win the World Championship. Jose Charles, his nickname is the Matador. So the Matador moves along from the bull. So I think stylistically, it's a great technical matchup, and I believe it's going to go 8 rounds.
scheduled 8 round. In the co-main event, we got a really interesting fight, a rematch. Sammy Castaneda, undefeated lightweight, junior welterweight, against Julio Sanchez, a really, really rugged veteran. What were your, the first fight was obviously exciting. Did you watch the first fight and say, we got to do this again? Or what was your reaction after the first fight back in September?
Well, if you know that matchmakers, you have to have the eye when you're matching up these fights, especially the co-main events and main events. And I try to make a lot of very competitive fights. I think our events have showcased that. In addition to that, one of the big factors was I know Julio Sanchez. He's from Houston, and he's upset a couple of undefeated guys. He's won the Texas title before. He's won the ABO championship before. So I know, and I'm from Houston, so I know how Houston fighters think. And they're coming and putting it all on the table. And I knew that Sammy had a good boxing pedigree as well as amateur pedigree. So I just knew it was going to be a very competitive fight.
The first fight was really close, really competitive. I got to talk to Sammy. He was all about the rematch. Were both guys open to it, or were both guys kind of like, no, give me an easier fight? I mean, both guys wanting that rematch?
Both of these guys are beasts. They both wanted the rematch. They both were willing to take it. There was some times that we didn't know we were coming back to the Valley for that fight, so I was actually speaking to other promotions just in case that we weren't going to be able to fulfill our promise, but I was going to complete that fight nonetheless, and people were interested. Once they seen the fight on YouTube and highlights of it, they were very interested in that fight.
So second one going to be better than the first one?
I believe so. I don't know, it's like the movie, right? The first movie, they make movies after that, it's not always the same.
Godfather 2 is better.
I think that's a matter of an opinion, but I just think stylistically it's a great fight. Stylistically, the main event is a great technical fight. We're going to have some wars. There's a rematch on there with one of our fighters, Nick Molina, versus Eduardo Manos de Piedra. Guerra from down here, their first fight ended in a controversial draw. Obviously, I had my guy winning. I think a lot of the arena had my guy winning.
Everybody had him winning.
Except for two of the judges. So we made sure those judges ain't gonna be here again. However, we made that rematch. That was a tough fight. That was a very tough fight, but I like it. I think it makes sense, and both guys wanted it.
Luey Villarreal, matchmaker, former ABF champ, ESPN, Friday night, ESPN Knockout. Any tickets left? How can people get tickets if there's any left?
There's tickets at Ticketmaster. You can go on Ticketmaster. If you're located here in the Valley or know anybody on the card, there is a few tables left, VIP tables. They are flying, they are selling. But you can also purchase tickets at the door at the Pain Arena. So either way, the show's gonna be electrifying. It's a great venue for a closed circuit fight. It just makes all the sense to make a show there.
God bless. Looking forward to the show tomorrow and the return of big time boxing over RGV.
3D boxing. Thank you.
God bless.